Okay, today I'm going to be talking about how not to look like an amateur on LinkedIn, and this is really important because it's a key element of any kind of LinkedIn sales funnel. Because at the end of the day, you've really got three things or three places where people are actually going to see stuff generated by you, curated by you, or either created by you. And of course, the big one is that profile. And if that profile is not actually showing the best side of you, your profile is going to be seen as amateurish. And I tell you what, it is the quickest turn off for a client, especially if you're going after other business owners in particular. And I see this a lot because, business owners, CEOs, those that are actually running kind of organizations, they're there for a reason. They've got there for a reason because they know what they're doing. In many cases, right? They know what they're doing. On LinkedIn, you have 7 seconds. You have about 7 seconds before someone decides, like, your profile sucks. And they're just going to turn off and they're not going to pay attention. So literally, you've got to ask yourself this question. When someone lands on your profile, what do you think they're thinking? Now, if your answer is like, I don't really know, or wow, they're probably not thinking much, or well, I think they might be thinking this, but I'm not quite sure, that you failed. You failed because they should know exactly what you're about as soon as they land on your profile. And that 7 seconds, there was studies done by not HubSpot, but one of the other talent sourcing companies where they did the eye mapping and stuff, and they looked at how people on 7 seconds. That's what it was before people kind of decide to stay on or leave the profile. So if your answer to that question, what do other people think when they land on your profile, is anything but, well, they think I'm this, and this is how I do it, and this is what people think about me. If you have anything other than that, that is probably one of the main reasons, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons that your LinkedIn sales funnel is failing you and you're not getting any of that inbound. And when you do your outreach and when you get into discussions with people, no one's kind of paying attention. Have you kind of noticed that as well? That can be a part of when, and I see this a lot, when people do their outreach, and generally, unless they're using my system, their outreach kind of sucks. When someone goes back and looks at their profile, there's incongruency between what they're saying in the messenger and the reality of the profile. The sloppy profile, the incomplete profile. It is a huge turnoff. If your page doesn't show you have empathy for your ideal client avatar, if it's not talking to your ideal client avatar, if it's not addressing those key pain points, those key problems, those bleeding neck problems that that niche suffers from, if none of that is addressed in that profile, you're really kind of doing a disservice to yourself, because I know that you know your industry, right? If you're serving your industry, I'm sure you know it inside out, back to front. And the thing to ask yourself is, what are those bleeding neck problems that your ideal clients suffer from? Right? How does it show up in their life? How is it affecting them, their business, others around them? That's critical, because what I see on LinkedIn, because everyone is using this reverse chronological ordered CV, resume. And remember, as I always say, guys, a resume is used for getting a job. You're trying to get clients, right? So you can't have a resume online and expect it to be a lead producing tool for you. You've got to have a client facing page. And one of those key elements in that client facing page is show that you have empathy. That's a really big one. I just touched on it before, but the empathy, so many of the profiles are focused towards being very analytical, right? They're being very analytical, and they're using phraseology and terms in their profiles that are jargonistic, that are very much industry specific, but in a way where they're promoting you as I was responsible for this, I did this, I achieved this. that's not when someone is looking at your profile and you're using it as a tool for client lead generation. If they're seeing that, it's not talking to them. You have to soften it down. You have to make it empathetic. So where this is showing up, guys, if you have noticed, you're getting ignored. That's the first thing, right? It's obvious. Your profile is lacking. Your profile is showing you to be an amateur, and you're getting ignored. And that's in two ways, or three ways. First, the LinkedIn algorithm, unless you've constructed a profile that is based around a specific bleeding neck problem or a transformational opportunity, because I know some of you have offers that are not necessarily solving a bleeding neck problem, but I offer a transformational opportunity for a client. If you're not optimized for that, generally what I see is the profiles are very general, right? Very general in nature. There's reverse chronological ordered resume. So the algorithm doesn't care. You're not getting picked up because there's no optimization of phrases, of keywords, of messaging. So you're not getting picked up by the LinkedIn algorithm. And if you notice your dashboard numbers under view profile, under your name, you'll see 3 numbers. Search appearances, you'll see how many people viewed your profile, and that's in the last 90 days. Then there's how many people saw your post, and then there is the last one, how many times or saved searches, search results, how many times you appeared in search results. That's over a 7-day period. If that's like 100 or 50 or 20, you've got a big problem. You're invisible. So that's the first thing, how it's going to show up. Secondly, when you're not getting any inbound, like no one at all is saying anything about you, to you, talking to you, reaching out. No one is doing it at all. It's just like absent. Yeah. The third way is when you're in your messaging and you're talking to them and it suddenly goes kind of quiet. Right? Now, there's a few things there. It could be that you've kind of worn out your welcome because your message structure also kind of sucks. You don't take them through a proper syntax, and that can cause a lot of problems. But also, if you're talking about a certain issue and then they go and look at your profile and it's like this horrible profile, this incomplete kind of resume, they'll be thinking you lose credibility really quick, and the conversation goes quiet, and you're sitting there like, all right. So, that's devastating, right? Because I'm sure you know your industry really well. You know your product really well. The problem is it's not hitting the mark. You are looking like an amateur. You have to look the best. That's it. Your profile, even if you stuff up all the messaging and everything, and maybe you don't use LinkedIn as a lead generation tool, having that profile, that people check you out regardless. Like, I don't sell a course of coaching to just to anyone. I reject about 25 to 30% of people because their business really isn't appropriate for LinkedIn for lead generation because their targets aren't active there and they're not in abundance. However, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a profile. You absolutely should, and your profile should look amazing. And if it doesn't, that's what's causing a huge amount of trouble. Hey, Jan, I can't wait to have you in our Q&A this week. Jason, how are you, mate? Seems overwhelming. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, but not, it's breaking, like when you first saw Facebook, how overwhelming was that, right? It's through use, it's through execution of strategy, right? Anyway, so that's how it's going to show up, right? You're not going to be seen. No one's caring. No one's responding. Now, there is a solution for this, right? And the solution really is, and I say this a lot, you've got to reduce to produce. It's just the fact. Like, LinkedIn is not going to be suitable for every client avatar. It's just not. So you've got to start to realize, okay, which industries that I can serve are the abundant ones in terms of the people on there. Who's the most abundant? Right? Who are they? And are they active? Are they in there, going in there and posting? So that's a big one. And what you should start to think about really is, okay, what is the service that I want to sell on LinkedIn? Because that may be different to the one that you sell on, or the product or service that you sell on LinkedIn may be different, or one of the other ones that you sell on Facebook or through paid media or whatever your channels are. But these are some considerations that and I'll talk about how you can loop this back into looking like a pro. really think about your offer. Which of all those things that you offer is the one that solves the biggest bleeding neck problem, right? Or provides the largest transformational opportunity for a client. That's the first thing to consider. The second thing is, is that problem one that is widespread and very, very common in your industry? So nearly everyone that you come across has that issue, because you need, obviously, the demand for it. The third thing is, what are the margins like? Are the margins good? Because obviously you need to make a profit, right? And then the fourth thing is it easy to deliver? Can you deliver it? Especially online. If you can deliver it online, awesome. But is the delivery kind of, simple? And I guess the last consideration is, are those avatars the kind of people you want to be working with? That's the other one, right? Because if you've chosen your product and all that, but then the person that you're going to deal with every day, they're just not a great fun bunch of people, do you want to be doing that every day? So once you've locked that down, then what you need to do is you need to reframe the profile. The profile needs to be all about that. Get rid of all the other stuff. No one cares about the other stuff. They want to know what you can do for them. And your page needs to change into a client-facing page. It's as simple as that. You've got to start seeing it as, I'm bringing a landing page or a website into LinkedIn, right? And it needs to be fully optimized. And then when you are focused on that key product, key service, key transformation opportunity, then you can start to optimize for it, right? You can talk directly to your avatar. You can show that empathy on that page. You can funnel them through information that you want them to see. It's a game changer for you, right? The algorithm starts to like you. It starts to pick you up. You start to get into more conversations, because when you reach out to people, they look at your page and they're like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. It all starts to come together. Then the volume picks up, your activity picks up, engagement picks up, you start to get the inbound. People start to reach out to you. And I see this all the time. My clients get messages saying, wow, you've got the prettiest profile. Your profile looks amazing. How'd you do that? Where'd you learn that? I hear that so often. And the great thing is, 99% of people are still running with this online resume, and that's fine if you're trying to get a job and if you're an employee. But if you own your own business and you're trying to use it as a B2B lead generation tool, you have to transform it. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you are stuck, if you are sick of being sick and tired on LinkedIn, reach out to me, book a call. We can look at what's working with your LinkedIn sales funnel, what's not working, and where you want to go with that. And if that's something that I can help you with, I'll absolutely tell you so. And I'll show you a blueprint that will work for you. Yeah. And then if you want to hire me, we'll talk about that. If I like you and you like me and I've got the solution, we're going to be that match and we'll get you done. So reach out to me if you guys are stuck. But, regardless, the amateur looking profile is going to cost you conversions. And that could literally mean hundreds of thousands of dollars lost by not focusing on that. So there you have it. That's my insights into removing that horrible amateurish looking profile and start to move towards a client facing promotional page. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.